Hi everyone, and welcome back to the dance that we love so much. Today we're coming to you from the Gold Coast. It's so beautiful. We've been frolicking in the water, enjoying the sunny weather, walking in the sand on the beach, looking at beautiful views and just bike riding all over the place and just having a ball. So in today's lesson, we'll be doing the hand. I find this pretty tricky, actually, the hand. So why is the hand so tricky? So when you do it in isolation, it takes a bit of practice to get right. In addition to that, when you're actually dancing and doing other moves and you're trying to put this one on top, suddenly your hand goes all over the place because you're concentrating on maybe doing some undulation, and then your hands, you lose control of your hands basically because you've got to do two things in parallel, so you're either focusing on one or the other. So what you got to do is you got to keep practicing, and I still do that because you just have to. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I wanted to do was just to familiarize yourself with your wrist, your fingers, and just try and get yourself an arch. We'll warm it up a bit and move it around. Bend your fingers, bend them up, bend your fingers, bend them up. If you find that you don't have that flexibility, you can push slightly with your other hand so you can get a sense of what it's like. Okay, so what I wanted to get started with was just to get your favorite hand, probably your right for most people, or you can get your left hand, whatever you want, but you'll have to practice obviously on both sides. So the first one is just try and focus a little bit on your wrist, but very gently, on your fingers. And so what I would like you to do is first try and bend these fingers up, and then curve them round, up, curve them round, up, curve them round. Now if you're finding it hard to do that, and that would be very understandable because you actually, there's a flexibility there and you've got to sort of practice it. So if you're finding that it's just kind of not bending at all, you can slightly just feel what it's like by bending it with your other hand and just encouraging it with your other hand. And then when you get the spot, then try and get your muscles to keep that there. So you get that and try and make your muscles keep it there, and then just exchange it. So now with your wrist, I know you might feel like you want to do that. You don't want to bend your wrist while you're doing that. You want to keep your wrist still straight like that, because what you want to do is you want to isolate everything up until your wrist. So that's why I just keep this straight. Bend that up and bend it down. Just that for now, just a thing to familiarize yourself. Now I'm just going to switch it around so you can see the other side. So as you'd notice, I've got my thumb close by. You can put it like that if you want down there, but I don't know, it's really a preference thing. I like to keep it together so it elongates the hand. I have particularly small hands, so that's why I like to follow that, but some people have naturally big hands, so if they do that, put their thumb a little bit further down, it might not be such a bad look. So it's really dependent on your hands, on how you want to factor your hands and make it look more obvious. And sometimes I've got to, if you've got little hands like me, you might want to turn it over so you can see hand, otherwise you just see this thin thing going there. So if you don't naturally have big hands, then you want to emphasize it sometimes. So if you're wondering where my thumb is at the time, that's where it is. That's how I keep my thumb. Now, going back to here, so you can see my wrist. So what you're effectively wanting to do is, if you want to make like a wave, so you want to hold your elbow in place so it's in control, because you're going to want to go like that, but you don't want to do that. So you want to hold it in place and then try and lift up your wrist, push down over here, push along here, and then bring it up. So it's basically all the movement is from here, and you're creating the move, the wave move from here to here, and theoretically nothing else moves. Now the other trick that I like to use is, you can do it if you wanted to start. It's actually easiest if you keep everything together flat and you go that, because somehow they're strengthened if you stick them together, and you can go up and down like that, and you can start that just as a practice to strengthen these, to strengthen this muscle and to get the idea of the wave. But for me, once again, like I said, I got little hands, so I want to sort of emphasize from a distance, because when you go out from a distance, you kind of lose it. But if you do that, then you can see the fingers, all the fingers, and it stands out more from a distance. So that's what I've tried to do, and a lot of times I still have. It's a difficult move, so if you feel like it's difficult, it is difficult, and especially when you start to move it to your other hand, the other hand's going to be disobedient, so you're going to have to make it obey. So like I said, you can keep it together, hold the elbow and push your fingers together and all that, and the same thing, I got my thumb sort of close by when I do it. So yep, so you got to keep practicing, and then of course you're gonna get tired. That's normal, so you just want to sort of do some other moves. Remember, you can move it. So with this move here, sometimes I get tired and I don't want to do the whole thing completely consecutive, so I keep these two fingers together, and it's the other ones will cover it up, and it's like an illusion that you're doing it all sort of separately and all that. So that's a little cheat that I have that works for me very well. So yeah, remember to, if you want to emphasize the wave, you gotta have your extremes of this flexibility and that. So be careful not to claw your hands in. That just looks uncomfortable. Looks like you're I don't know, you're gonna claw someone or something. So there's this bit here, when you're dancing, you don't realize that you will lock that in, and it's a very common thing and everybody does it. So you just have to remember that it's very subtle bend over here, and that's very hard to control, and that's understandable. So now the other thing with the hand is, when I'm doing the down ones. Like I said, I've got little hands, so I want to emphasize it. So I put the palm out so you can see it more. And the other trick is when you're doing practicing this, it's actually easy to bring in your left hand at the same time, because for some reason your mind can synchronize it together, whereas if you do it on its own, it seems to get lost a bit more. But if you got your other one and you synchronize it together, they kind of cooperate a little bit better for some reason. Sometimes a lot of people, there's a trick of you can use your thumb to kind of, you can't see your thumb this side when you're doing that one, so you can actually pull that up and down, and then your hand will have a bit more strength from here to make that wave. You'll give it some strength. So you can't really see it on this side, but you can see it looks different from this side. See that? So yeah, you can use that. One more last little trick that I wanted to give you, and it could help you, is you can get a bracelet. A heavy bracelet would be okay, but I don't have a bracelet with me at the moment because I'm on holiday. So I just got myself a scrunchie, and the idea of this is when you're wearing your bracelet, it puts weight on your wrist, so it helps you concentrate a little bit on your wrist when you want to push down and do that. For some reason it does help in the beginning, but yeah, so I just wanted to emphasize that one. If you wanted to give it a go, heavy bracelet would be better. So yeah, give it a go. Let me know in the comments how that works. You'll find you'll do it so easily on its own eventually, and then when you go to dance and you do it together, you kind of lose it a little, but or when you kind of put it in with something else, you lose it a bit. I hope you enjoyed that. Practice, practice, practice.